Welcome to this lesson in World Drum Club. I'm Kalani, your host and teacher. We're going to be looking at some really basic bongos for you beginners out there. Basic bongos for beginners. Repeat after me. No. This lesson is all about getting you started on your bongos, or maybe just giving you something very simple and nice that you can play along with any kind of music that you happen to be accompanying, whether that's in a band or in your church or wherever you want to play music with other people. So I've got the bongos set up on a stand, small drum on the left. I've got them pretty flat, and you can see where I've got these adjusted according to the height. They're a little bit higher than my elbows, which allows me to have my arm and hand, fingers, everything pretty much in a flat line. All right, so that's the first thing. So set up for ergonomics. Second thing, not quite as important, but also important, is tuning. Notice the tuning of these. They're pretty tight. Okay, so when you're playing, especially with other people, other musicians, especially with a drummer or a lot of musicians, say more than one or two other musicians, you want to tune these guys up because they're not very loud, and if you don't have them tuned up, they could get buried, and you could also end up in the same frequency range as a singer or a guitar player or piano players. So you want to kind of find your own little zone, your frequency zone, which is higher, and then they'll cut through more and they'll sound more crisp and clean, and everybody will be very happy. Okay, so let's get into your first basic rhythm on the bongos. And what we're going to do is base this on an alternating movement. So as a warm-up, as a practice, we're going to practice just playing alternating right and lefts, or if you're left-handed, you can switch this back and forth. So that's just like running, right? Right, left, right, left, right, left. Then we'll start to add some notes on the low drum. And for now, it doesn't really matter. You can practice this any way you want. You can copy me, and you can make up your own variations as well. So noodle around with that, and if you're using an app like Loop to Learn, you can actually rewind any part of this video and loop it as many times as you want on your smartphone. Just download the app Loop to Learn, and it'll explain how to do that. But I highly recommend that app if you want to loop any part of any YouTube video, including all the lessons here on World Drum Club. So let's get back to right, left, right, left. So let's put a metronome on at 90 beats a minute, and if you don't have a metronome, you can get one on your smartphone. I'm using one on the iPhone. You can download metronome apps. They're everywhere. I shoo them away when I'm at the App Store. So this is 90 beats a minute, which is relatively slow. It's kind of a medium tempo, medium slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, notice where I'm striking the drum. We'll get a little bit into technique, not too much. A little bit. So we're using our fingers, fingertip area to strike near the rim, not way out here at the edge. That would hurt a little bit, but just wherever it's comfortable, maybe a pad or at the most 2 pads of your fingers. And then that's on the small drum. On the larger drum, we can go in a little bit more, maybe use our whole fingers. Okay, it's not critical right now. Later on, when you get more into the intermediate and advanced bongo playing with techniques and rhythms, you can refine that. For right now, we just want to focus on getting a crisp sound and a simple sound on both of these drums. Let's start again with this in mind, and I'll put the metronome on again to 90 beats a minute and just play along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's make a more interesting rhythm by removing a couple of the notes. So we're going to use a subtractive approach with this, or reducing the number of notes, which is great because you're already playing everything. You don't need to add anything. We're just going to take a couple sounds away. And we're going to end up with something that sounds like this. All right, so that might sound familiar to you if you've listened to some Latin music or you've listened to somebody play bongos. It's a very typical sounding pattern. So all we're going to do is play the first note, then we're going to what we call ghost the next two notes, notes 2 and 3. So that's hit and ghost, ghost. We can also call those touches. The idea with the touches is that you're marking the time. We don't really want to hear those notes. It's okay if you hear them a little, but you want to just mark them, not really play them and produce a loud sound. And then notes 4 and 5 we're going to hear at the full volume. One E and a 2. So that's 1, a 2. That's what we're going to hear. And then there's a little touch, and then we go to the low drum. One E and a 2 and. And then another little touch. And then we're going to repeat that. So this becomes our, basically, depends how you count it. If you're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, then it's a four beat phrase. If you're counting 1 E and 2 E and then it's a 2 beat phrase. Doesn't really matter how you're counting it, but it does matter how you play it. So I'm going to put the metronome on again, play along with me, and just, you've got the screen. We're going to put the overhead view up for you to see fully, and just do the best you can. A 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so this is a simple pattern, but it's interesting and it's musical. You can play this in lots of styles of music. You can even swing it a little bit. So you can play it in a swing ensemble, jazz band, any number of different songs and styles. So we're going to continue this lesson on patreon.com/Kalani for you patrons. YouTube viewers, I want to thank you for tuning in to World Drum Club. As always, I appreciate your likes and subscribe so you don't miss anything. If you'd like to get even more and continue some of these lessons in a more advanced way, check us out at patreon.com/Kalani. And consider watching some of these other videos that you'll find on World Drum Club. Thanks for watching.